If you hold exactly 11,000 US dollars today, you have reached a strange milestone. In India, you are now officially a millionaire. This chart tracks the scale of the currency's collapse. Since January, the rupee has plummeted by roughly 8% against the dollar, a free fall that breached the 96.50 threshold in late May and marked it as the worst-performing currency in Asia for the year. When a national currency loses value this rapidly, the public turns to one place for answers. Financial markets and citizens are currently demanding that the Reserve Bank of India step in and stop the crash. However, the RBI is currently operating within a set of rigid structural constraints that leave them with almost no room to move. The central bank is trapped by a law of macroeconomics known as the impossible trilemma, a bind that forces the rupee to absorb the full, brutal impact of a global shock. The impossible trilemma dictates a nation can only hold two of three powers: free capital flow, independent monetary policy, and a fixed exchange rate. India prioritizes monetary policy and capital flow. Thus, the exchange rate is left to the market, the designated point of instability. This instability was tested in late February 2026 when military conflict erupted between the United States and Iran. The economic weight of this conflict comes down to geography. The hostilities occurred at the edge of a critical maritime bottleneck, the Strait of Hormuz. Because this lane handles the world's most vital energy flows, global markets reacted instantly. Within weeks, the price of Brent crude oil climbed past $110 a barrel. India is uniquely exposed to this volatility, as the nation relies on foreign imports for 85% of its crude oil requirements. The financial math of that dependency is severe. For every single dollar the price of a barrel increases, an additional $2 billion is drained from the Indian economy every year. The war effectively triggered a massive, unavoidable drain of US dollars out of the country. And because of the trilemma, the RBI is forced to let the rupee's value fall to compensate. Compounding this oil shock is a second pressure point, a historic liquidation of Indian assets by foreign investors. High returns on US Treasury bonds are pulling capital back to the West, while domestic tax rules in India effectively punish foreign investors for the rupee's decline, making them even more eager to leave. The RBI tried to mount a defense by selling billions in foreign exchange reserves and banning specific currency derivatives to curb speculation, but they are fighting with limited ammunition. This chart shows why the RBI's power is limited. While total reserves look massive, a huge portion is tied up in forward book liabilities, contractual commitments to deliver dollars later. This significantly reduces the actual usable cash available to defend the rupee today. To stop the outflow of dollars, the government has turned to drastic measures. They hiked import taxes on physical gold and silver to 15%, attempting to discourage citizens from spending foreign exchange on precious metals. At the diplomatic level, the government is also seeking workarounds. Prime Minister Modi signed energy pacts with the UAE to secure long-term reserves of crude oil and gas, bypassing the volatile spot market entirely. These are the maneuvers of a government trying to sidestep a global system it can no longer control through standard interest rates or currency sales. For the 1.4 billion people inside the country, these macroeconomic binding rules result in tangible pain at the grocery store. As the rupee buys fewer dollars, the cost of the diesel used to transport food spikes. This imported inflation drives up the price of basic staples, even those produced domestically. This sense of public anxiety is a repeat of the 2013 taper tantrum, the last major currency crisis that threatened India's stability. India survived that crisis by offering high interest rates to lure emergency deposits from the Indian diaspora living abroad. But that strategy is hitting a wall. In 2026, those diaspora deposits are actually drying up, leaving the government to fight this war without its traditional financial reinforcements. The value of a national currency extends far beyond domestic productivity. It is a live scoreboard of a nation's geographical and geopolitical vulnerabilities. Until global energy shocks subside, the Indian economy remains at the mercy of the world. It is a reminder that in a highly interconnected global economy, no central bank can truly shield its citizens from the storm.